So I welcome all of you. Today we will be discussing the 9th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. First we will do Mangalacharan. Please repeat after me. Om Ajnanatimirandhasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadhutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakham Vidamscha Namaum Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prishtaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namine Namaste Saraswate Devi Gaurvani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyatya Desha Tarine Vancha Kalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhubhya Evacha Patitanam Pavnebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namah Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namne Gauritvishe Namah Panchtatvatmakam Krishnam Bhaktarupa Swarupakam Bhaktavataram Bhaktakyam Namami Bhakta Shaktikam He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Deenabandhu Jagatpate Gopesh Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanusute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Rama Hare Hare. So I welcome you all to this session on chapter 9 of Bhagavad Gita, which is technically known as Param Guhya Gyan, or the most confidential knowledge. Now first let's understand what is confidential about it, because anybody would say that Bhagavad Gita is easily available everywhere because of mercy of Srila Prabhupada, and anybody can have a copy of Bhagavad Gita and read this chapter 9. So what is so confidential about it? It is really easily available. How and why is Lord terming it as the most confidential knowledge? And this chapter was very close to Srila Prabhupada. He took so many lecture series on this chapter, which you can hear on Veda Ways. If you have time, especially hear this 1972-73 Bombay lectures of this section. They are amazing lectures. Now, any time when we say that some knowledge or some information is confidential or classified, what we mean is that it is top secret. The access to it is denied. Now, Bhagavad Gita is easily available. Everybody can have his own copy of Bhagavad Gita and read it. But then access to that understanding and that realization of this knowledge is actually denied. Unless and until you understand it through a bona fide Guru Shishya Parampara, it is very difficult to understand the crux and enter into this realization. Most of the time, we may even recite and remember the shlokas, but that access to that understanding, that when that specific situation arises in our life, will we be able to actually put this knowledge into practice? That is actually confidential part of it. So why it is also confidential? Sometimes, like if a nuclear bomb arsenal is there and there is some trigger for it, which is actually available only to the top people of the country, why it is not available to each one and everyone? Because there is potential misuse can happen. Same way, this knowledge, why Lord has given it as a confidential aspect? Because it may be potentially misused, because this knowledge pertains to specific intricacies of Lord Krishna's abode and his doings. So in fact, chapter 2 and 3 are also confidential knowledge. Why they are confidential? Because most of the people in this world, they are not even aware that we are not this body, we are spirit souls. And our aim in this existence is to somehow get liberated from here. And this basic information is also sort of confidential. That's why most of the people live their whole life without understanding that this is not the physical platform where we should understand things. There is a spiritual dimension and paradigm which we should try to understand. And the more confidential knowledge was given in chapter 7 and 8, specifically in chapter 8, when Lord gave that information that at the end of your life, if you somehow remember me, then you will come to me and you will never come back to this abode of material existence. And now what he is saying in chapter 9, this is the most confidential knowledge. So there are 3 levels. The confidential knowledge was given in chapter 2nd and 3rd. The more confidential knowledge was given in chapter 7 and 8. And the most confidential knowledge now Lord will give us in chapter 9. Why this is most confidential? Because it deals with the pure unalloyed devotion. We will understand what is unalloyed soon. And it delineates the glories of the Lord. So these 2 things are most confidential. And one should remember in his life, if you have access to these 2 things, one, the pure unalloyed devotional service, and second, how and where to glorify Lord. If you have these 2 access, means you have the most confidential knowledge in the world which exists. So we are so fortunate. Lord has already given hint about this in 8th chapter, like he always does. So Purusha sa para partha bhaktya labhastan ananya yasyantasthani bhutani yena sarvamidam tatha. So Lord said, labhyas tattva ananya, ananya bhakti. Ananya bhakti is unalloyed devotion. Srila Prabhupada translated Ananya Bhakti as unalloyed devotional service. Now, this is a very revolutionary concept. Before Srila Prabhupada, nobody talked about devotion or bhakti as devotional service. Nobody talked in terms of unalloyed devotional service. Now, what is unalloyed? We all know what is alloy. In chemistry, we all know metallurgy, that when 2 different metals are mixed together, they form a alloy. What is unalloyed? Which is not alloy, means pure form of metal. So if you add zinc to gold, then it is a alloy. But if you remove that zinc, then what remains is a pure gold. And same way, if you add anything to your bhakti, you add karma to your bhakti, it becomes a karma mishra bhakti. If you add jnana to your bhakti, it becomes a jnana mishra bhakti. If you remove everything from bhakti, then what remains is pure unalloyed bhakti. Now, bhakti, Srila Prabhupada translated as devotional service. In India, mostly people think bhakti, oh, I will sit on one corner, I will take my japmala beads and I will chant and I am doing great bhakti, I am a great devotee. No, no, no. Srila Prabhupada says, bhakti means service. Are you doing some specific service? If you're not doing any specific service towards Lord and his devotees, actually you're not doing bhakti. You are not understood bhakti. Bhakti means some service. So what we are hankering for, or what should be our aim? Unalloyed devotional service. That unalloyed devotional service which Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came and taught us. That unalloyed devotional service, what Lord's intimate devotees in Vrindavan they are doing. That unalloyed devotional service which in Jagannath Puri Karma Bai is cooking khichdi for Lord. So that is unalloyed devotional service, where they don't expect anything from Lord. They want Lord from this service. Nothing else they aspire or hanker for. So if we see 9th chapter, we can divide 9th chapter into 4 different sections. The first part, in first 3 shlokas, Lord specifically tells us about hearing. What are the qualification and disqualifications about hearing? Recently in Saturday classes, we actually took a session on hearing, and that time also I was discussing this part, that how the 7th chapter starts with Tat Shrunu, the hearing. And this chapter also starts with hearing. Who is qualified to hear about Lord? We see that we approach so many people with folded hands and we request them, please come for the sessions, please listen about Bhagavad Gita, please try to attend. But unfortunately, they are not able to attend. Why they are not able to attend? The reason is here. Actually, there are qualifications which are needed to understand this spiritual knowledge. Not everybody is qualified enough to understand this knowledge. And person who is not qualified, Lord will not allow him to come to these sessions and understand this knowledge. After this comes, once you are qualified to hear, then first hear about the glorious dimensions about Lord, what we technically call as Aishwarya Gyan. Once you have that Aishwarya Gyan, how great God is, then you will understand how sweet God is. So how you understand greatness of God? By hearing. How you understand sweetness of God? You understand sweetness of God by interacting with God. But interaction doesn't come first. First, you have to hear about the God. And that hearing is Aishwarya Gyan. How this material world is actually orchestrated by Lord's energies. That is the Aishwarya aspect of Lord. Then there are two type of people. One type of people, what Lord says, are fool. They are neglecting the bhakti. And another type of few people who actually love bhakti, they have that understanding of divine aspect of Lord. And those are divine people. And then in section 4, Lord will tell about these divine people. The people who know about bhakti, they are preaching about bhakti, they are singing the glories of bhakti. So these 4 sections we'll be covering today. A very interesting chapter. It will actually solve a lot of our doubts regarding demigod worship, which we all have in India, that I am doing some already demigod worship. What will happen if I come to Lord? Will he become angry? Will Lord accept me or not? So Lord specifically answers that. Also, we have this doubt that somehow we are doing some seva and we are trying to develop, but if we are not able to completely do that service or the devotional aspect, then what will happen to us? So these two common doubts, they will be very well cleared in this chapter. So this chapter starts with a very nice shloka in which Lord says that idam tute guhyatamam pravaksham anusuyave jnanam vijnana sahitam yagyatva mokshase ashubhat. So what he's saying, Arjuna, I will tell you this confidential knowledge. Why I have chosen you to impart this knowledge? The reason is anusuyave. Anusuyave means person who is non-jealous, person who is not jealous about Lord, person who is respecting Lord. So who will get this gyan? This gyan will come to a person who is not jealous about Lord's Aishwarya. First part. Second part, this gyan itself is not enough. This gyan should convert to Vigyan. And how this gyan will convert to Vigyan? This gyan or knowledge will convert to realization if you are non-jealous. So sometimes we may hear from someone, but if you are jealous about Lord, then we will not get the perfect knowledge. And what is this specific knowledge which he is talking about? Very nice shloka. Lord says that Raj Vidya Raj Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyakshavgamam Dharmam Susukham Kartum Avyayam. Actually, this shloka we can understand in many sessions. This shloka in itself carries lot of information. Lord says that what I am giving you is not a mundane knowledge. Like we have some engineering books, some medical books, some surgery books, like we will have one more Bhagavad Gita book also. No. These all knowledge are knowledge about this material life and how to try to understand this material creation. What Lord is going to tell us is Raj Vidya, the king of all the knowledge. Raj Guhyam, the king of all the confidentiality. Pavitram idam uttamam. Pavitram, it's very pure knowledge. And uttamam, uttamam means, tam means darkness. The knowledge which will carry us from this darkness to light. So Raj Vidya Raj Guhyam Pavitram Idam Uttamam Pratyaksha Avagayam Dharmam. Somebody may say, okay, this knowledge is there, I have read it, I have tried to understood also, I respect it also, but I have not experienced it. Will I be able to experience this knowledge? Then Lord says, Pratyaksha Avagayam Dharmam. Don't worry, you will actually have realization about this knowledge. And what will be that realization? Susukham, that will be very pleasant, and kartum avyayam. And once you start following it, you will become avyay, you will never be perished. So this is the king of all knowledge. Why he is saying king of all knowledge? We can read so many philosophers, Western philosophers, Indian philosophers. I am fond of reading, so I read so many of them, like Gautam, Kanad, Kapil, Yagyavalak, Shandilya, Vaishwanar, and in modern parlance, you can read Aristotle, you can read Socrates, you can read so many people. But all these different philosophers, they are confused. Here, Lord himself is giving this knowledge. He is not confused. So this is the essence of all the doctrines and all the philosophies. In this one chapter, you can understand the crux of all the philosophies which are there in the world. And that's why it is Raj Guhyam. It is a most confidential knowledge. Why it is confidential? We already discussed. Because it is talking about the eternal activities of what soul should perform its duties towards Lord. That information is there. That's why this is a very confidential knowledge. Now, what is the problem in this world? People have some aspect, some knowledge about this, incomplete knowledge about some aspect of it, and then they concoct some philosophies around it, and they say that, okay, I have understood this phenomenal world. But actually, they have not understood. This misconception leads to all the false philosophies like impersonalism. Impersonalism means Lord doesn't exist, he is just a sound, he is just a light, or he is not there only. Atheism. Or somebody may say that soul only exists in human beings and soul doesn't exist in lower species. And so actually this whole world is for pleasure. And whose pleasure? The human being's pleasure. So they can kill anyone and eat anyone because soul doesn't exist. Soul only exists in human beings. And you will be surprised to know that almost more than 40% population on this planet, they believe this false notion that soul only exists in human beings. And if you are intelligent enough, it hardly requires 1 or 2 minutes of contemplation to understand that there is practically no difference between animals and humans. How you can say that soul only exists in humans? The reason why you are saying this philosophy that soul only exists in human, because you want to eat those animals and you want to have some philosophical basis for doing it. So all these false philosophies, they will be refuted by understanding this 9th chapter. And that's why this is Pavitram Idam Uttamam. This is the purest form of knowledge. Because all apavitrata, all this sin, the lust, anger, greed, delusion, all this arises in us because of wrong understanding about our constitutional position. Once we understand that who am I and what are my duties towards Lord and this creation, then automatically we will refrain ourselves from doing anything wrong, because we will not be trapped in any such false philosophies. And that's why automatically, if you have this proper knowledge, you will become pavitra. You don't have to do something extra for it. And once you are pavitra, you are out of this all tamogun influence, all this materialistic activity. And that's why this knowledge is uttamam. This knowledge is just like light. This knowledge is just like you are traveling for thousands of years through a tunnel which is all dark, and then at the end of the tunnel you see some light, and then you have that hope that, okay, if I keep on going, someday I will reach to that light, that source of light. And somehow, by the good fortune, we all have reached to that end of the tunnel through which we can see that light. That light is this knowledge, the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita and Dharmayam. Actually, what is Dharma? Dharmam tu sakshat Bhagavat Pranitam. Dharma is something which Lord himself can give. Many times people say religion is equal to dharma. Actually, religion is not equal to dharma. Religion is just a faith. Somebody may be born in particular religion or faith, and he may change his religion or faith someday. A Muslim may become a Christian may become a Hindu may become a Muslim. This way he can change his birth religion. But dharma is something which can never be changed. Srila Prabhupada explains that what is dharma? Dharma is like sugar's dharma or nature is sweetness. The fire's dharma is heat. So dharma is something which can never be taken away from us. If you take sweetness from sugar, sugar doesn't exist. If you take heat from the fire, then fire doesn't exist. Same way, what is there in us, if we take it out, we don't exist. And what is that? That is our dharma. And what is that aspect of us? That aspect of us is serving. We are serving. Even if you are a non-devotee, you are serving. You are serving your boss. You are serving your family. You are serving your society. You are serving your nation. You are serving someone or the other. Husband, wife serving each other. So each one of us are serving someone or the other. We can never say that we can live in this world without serving. Even the greatest authority position, a president of India, she is also serving the whole society. So everybody is serving. This service attitude cannot be taken away from us. This is our dharma. So this is what Lord will teach us in this chapter. But what is the problem? Who cannot hear? Who cannot understand? Who cannot have access to this knowledge? Ashraddha dhana purusha dharmasya param tapa aprapya mam nivartante mrityu sansar vartamani. Ashraddha dhana, the person who has no faith in this knowledge, he will be rotating in this mrityu sansar vartamani. Mrityu sansar vartamani. He will keep on rotating here. Ashraddha dhana, if you don't have faith in Lord's words, you will be rotating in this mrityu sansar vartamani. So actually, on the basis of faith also, we should try to understand this aspect. The lowest type of faith is, there is no faith. Most of the people, if you go and ask them, do you believe in the scriptures? Oh, why I believe in scriptures? My all facilities are given by science. I believe in science. Actually, there is no problem in believing in science. It is all right, but science can only solve some of your problems. Science cannot solve the eternal problem of life and death and rebirth. So this is the lowest type of faith, where there is no faith in the scriptures. And easily they will go for anything which will be alluring. The second level of faith will be better than that. Once we have read the scriptures, we are not very advanced in understanding it, but we have this faith that, okay, somehow I want to understand more about it. So this is the second level of faith. This second level of faith is better than that lowest level of faith. If this second level faith person, he gets some association and he remains simple in that association, he will reach to the third or the highest level of faith, the first level of faith. And what is that level of faith? That firm faith that anything and everything which is given in the scriptures is right. And this is the faith required to understand Bhagavad Gita. Many times we say, I am reading Bhagavad Gita since 10 years. I have no realization. Why we have no realization? At first place, we don't have faith only. If you have faith, then all our lifestyle will change if we read Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita is enough to change your life. And now Lord, once he is qualified, that who can come to him? Person who is not jealous of him. Who cannot come to him? Person who don't have faith. So if you are non-jealous, and if you have faith, and if you have good association, then this knowledge is for you. And what is that knowledge? Lord gives in next 6 shlokas. That knowledge is the Aishwarya Gyan, that Krishna's relationship with the world. We are living in this world. For all practical purposes, we should understand that we will exist in this world for many years to come. Now Lord says that by me in my unmanifest form, this entire universe is pervaded. All beings are in me, but I am not in them. So this is very specific thing. We are in this illusory world, which doesn't exist for a long. But this world is created by Lord himself. Now creator is not in the creation. But in a sense, creator is in this creation because it is his creation. So that's why he's using this coded language, that all beings are me, but I am not in them. When he is saying that all beings are me, what he means? That actually I have created even their material body and souls, but I am not in them. In that sense, what is he saying? That you have that independence. You want to exist here or you want to come to me. I will not take away your independence. It is up to you. You want to come to me, you can come to me. And that's why Lord says that Nacha mat sthani bhutani pashyame yogameshwaryam bhut bhutracha bhutasya mam atma bhut bhavana. So everything what Lord has created actually does not rest in him, because this material creation is created by his energies. Directly where he is existing in his own abode. And that's why people may argue that since God is expanded in everything, that everything we worship is God. So I may worship this table and chair also and say that God exists in him. And that's why Lord says that what? Krishna is everywhere, everything is in him, but he is still aloof. Like water vapor is everywhere. But then if you are thirsty, you have to drink that water from the glass. You cannot say that I will, because water vapor exists everywhere, I will suck some air and I will get water vapor through it. No, there are ways through which you can assimilate that knowledge. That's why there are ways through which you can understand God. And that ways through deity worship, through understanding the Aishwarya of God. So Lord is full of all the Aishwarya, all the opulences. And now he gives some glimpse of that opulence, although he'll be discussing more in the subsequent chapters. So we generally say that not a blade of grass moves without the will of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So everything is moving under his will. By his will, everything is created, everything is maintained, everything is annihilated. So everything is happening through the will of God, but actually he is aloof from it. He is not destroyed when this material world is destroyed. That's why he says that Sarva Bhutani Konte Prakristani Mamikam Kalpakshaya Punastadi Kalpado Vrisajayaham. So Lord in his different forms and manifestations through his different potencies, actually he controls that how this world will be manifested and when this world will annihilate. And that's why as the creation, the material energy is in a whole form known as Mahat Tattva. And when Lord desires, then from that Mahatva to all these creation, they bring forth. So this creation, if you want to know more about how these creations happen, then you read Bhagavatam. The Bhagavatam very elaborately explains that how different elements, they come from the Mahat Tattva, how Mahavishnu is there and through his breath, all this creation is created, and how this all Brahman, they rest, and how Brahmaji comes and he creates everything. What is the role of Garbhodakshai Vishnu? It is a very fascinating science, and if you read it through Bhagavatam, then you will be able to understand it. So modern concept of evolution is that we started with a lower species form, unicellular form, and then slowly multicellular, and then life was created in water, and then amphibians, and then so on and so forth, and final creation is Homo sapiens. But the proper understanding of evolution is this, that actually, yes, evolution is happening. That evolution is of consciousness. That evolution is of our soul's understanding about its true nature. So when we are in animal body, that we are in the lower rux of that evolution. And once we reach to the human, the civilized human beings, we have reached to the pinnacle of that evolution. So spiritual evolution occurs, but this modern concept of evolution is very fallacious. Darwinism, actually, even in science, they are now challenging it. So nachama tani karmani nibadyanti dhananjaya. Somebody may say that, okay, you are creating, then you are actually annihilating, then definitely you must be trapped in this karma cycle. Then Lord says that no, I am above all these karma cycle. I am not bound by all these things. Actually, maya adhyakshena prakriti suyate sa characharam hetu nanena konteya jagatve parivartate. Maya adhyakshena prakriti. I actually direct, and in my direction, this material creation is going on. And this creation happens and then it disappears. So, maya adhyakshena prakriti. Lord is like a director of that movie, and all those actors are actually acting under the direction of that director. Director is never seen in the screen. He is never seen in whole movie. But actually he has directed that movie. That's why Lord says, Maya Adhyakshena Prakriti. Who is the Adhyaksh? Who is controller? I am the controller. Who is giving the direction? I am giving the direction. And what is happening? Through my direction, all these moving and non-moving, means living and non-living beings are created. And all this manifest world, what you see, is actually because of my direction. And when it disappears, then also it is my direction. It doesn't happen that, okay, I have given a direction of creation and then somehow it gets disappeared. No, no, no. Creation and disappearance both comes from me. But there are people who are fools. They are demonic. Avajananti mama muda manushim tanumashritam param bhavam ajananto mama bhuta maheshwaram. So Lord is actually controller bhut and maheshwar. But there are people who are fools, who have demonic mentality. Avajananti mama mudha. Mudha in Sanskrit means fool. मूर्ख मेरा उपहास करते हैं. मूर्ख कौन होते हैं? सारे जो राक्षसी कुल में जन्मे हैं वो सब मूर्ख होते हैं. अवजानंती माम मूढ़ा मानुषिम तनुमाश्रितम. So what they say? Oh, this particular person named Krishna, he has body like me, so he must be a normal human being. They don't know that he is divine. And that understanding, many times we discuss with a lot of people who pose themselves as scholars, and what they will say, oh, Krishna is a very important historical figure. Krishna gave very nice philosophy in Bhagavad Gita. But Krishna was just like a human being like me. There is a specific cult which says that Krishna is right now in, I don't want to say also that Krishna is, where is Krishna? Krishna is somewhere in the hellish planet. He's suffering for all his karmas which he has done. Now, these people have never read Bhagavad Gita. If they would have read, they would have understood that avajananti mama muda. Only Murkh people will say that Krishna is also suffering because of his karmas. And what they do, all these Murkh people, Mogasha Mogha Karmano Mogha Jnana Vichetasa Rakshisham Asurim Cheva Prakriti Mohini Ashrita. Lord will again talk about this in subsequent chapters, that there are Devi Sampada and Asuri Sampada. So these Asuri people, these Rakshasi people, what they do? Prakriti Mohini Ashrita. Because they are Rakshasi, so Lord actually somehow manages that they will never understand him. Same way what happens to Shishupal. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakurpada explains that one who is practicing the Ashtanga Yoga for liberation, if one is practicing Karma Kand ritual for material well-being, he is practicing Jnana Yoga for knowledge and Brahman realization. But if he somehow tries to understand Lord Krishna, then all this attraction toward Ashtanga Jnana and Karma Kand will go away. But if you remain attracted to Ashtanga Yoga, Karma Kand and Jnana only, then there will be no success awarded to those. So we have to somehow understand that Lord has a spiritual form. The moment we understand it, we come out of this delusion, this moghasha, mogha karmano, mogha jnana vichetasa. So if we are in that league of people who say that there is no God or God doesn't have a form which is divine, then actually we are not the true person whom this knowledge will be given. And then Lord contrasts it with, there are people who actually respect Lord. And who are those? Mahatmanam stu mam partha devim prakritim ashrita. They were Asuris. Now he's talking about the Devi people. Devi means divine nature. And what they say? Bhajantas ananya manaso gyatva bhutadi avyayam. So ananya bhav se, who is doing that bhakti? Bhajante ananya manaso. Mahatma. Lord tells that what is the definition of Mahatma? Mahatma is not some rubber stamping that, okay, 10 people started calling one person as Mahatma, so everybody started calling him Mahatma. Mahatma is a very high level of realization. Who are Mahatmas? Mahatmas are the people who have understood that Mahatmam Sumam Partha, Devim Prakritim Ashrita. They know that this whole creation is coming from the Lord. And that's why they fully engage themselves in that devotional service. So from the point I started, Ananya, unalloyed bhakti, devotional service. So Lord says that bhajantya ananya manaso. This is what? Unalloyed devotional service. So who can do that unalloyed devotional service? Who knows that actually this whole creation is coming from the Lord and we are under his divine protection. So this is the proper understanding of Bhagavad Gita. Like we see Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada took so much trouble, all the pain, so many difficulties, obstacles while he's going to America. But still, he has that firm faith in two things. One, the order of his Guru Maharaj, and second thing, the potency of this message which he is going to distribute. And because he had that understanding, that's why his all endeavors were fructified. And what such people will do? Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantasya dradvata namastasyancha mam bhakta nitya yukta upasate. Such people will do satat kirtan. Now you can hear in background they are doing kirtan. So people also do kirtan. But that kirtan is for some politician. That kirtan is for some political party. How many years that politician will live? How many years that political party will exist? How many years these nations and boundaries will exist? But people who understood the eternal knowledge of Lord, they will understand. Satatam kirtayanto mam yatatansya dradvata. So satat kirtan who can do? Dradvat kirtan who can do? Who has understood this knowledge. So such great souls, what they will do? They will always bow down before Lord. So this is very important. And very important thing Srila Prabhupada points out, Satatam kirtayanto mam yatantasya dradvata namastasyancha mam bhaktya nitya yukta upasate. In these two lines, Lord twice says mam. Mam means me in Sanskrit. Lord doesn't say that Satat kirtanto some light, Satat kirtayanto some sound, Satat kirtayanto so and so person. No. Satat kirtayanto mam. Only me. He is very possessive regarding this. He doesn't say kisi aur ka kirtan karo. He never says kisi aur ko namaskar karo. Respect karo. But namastasyan se mam bhaktya. If you call yourself Lord's devotee, then you will only bow down before Lord and his associates and not to each one. So how Mahatmas will come out? People say लोगों में बहुत आजकल बुरे विचार हैं. They are very fallen down. Why it is happening? From where this Mahatmas will come? Mahatmas will come from the association with other Mahatmas. If there are no Mahatmas, no role models around us, how we will understand that yes, we can also become like someone. So if you happen to meet someone who is doing that Satat Kirtan, then catch his feet. Don't leave him. And request him, please teach me how to do this Namastasyanch Mam Bhaktya. And he will actually give you that knowledge. Because unless until we meet someone who is doing that Satat Kirtan, we'll never be able to do that Satat Kirtan. We will never be able to become the Dradvata. If we want to become Dradvata, we have to find out someone who is Dradvata. We have to find out someone who is that level of understanding. ज्ञान यज्ञेन चापन्ये यजंतो माम उपासते एकत्वेन पृथक्केन बहुता विश्वतो मुखम. Now Lord will contrast. First he contrasted that there are Asuri people. Then he said that okay, there are people who know about me and they want to serve me satat roop se. And now he comes to third part, that there are people who are not yet elevated in that understanding, but they actually want to understand Lord. And there are different type of people who want to understand Lord in different ways. Ekatven, Prathakven, and Vishwatomukham. Now Mahatmas are the topmost. We already understood in 7th chapter that there are 4 type of Sukratinas who also come to Lord. And now there are 3 type of Jnanis also who will come to Lord. The first one are Ekatven, second one are Prathakven, and third one are Vishwatomukham. So 7.16 we already seen that Chaturvida Bhajante Mam Janana Sukrito Arjuna Artho Jigyasu Arthati Jnani Cha Bhartarshava. So there he said, Chaturvida bhajante mam. 4 type of people, they do my devotion service. They are all Sukrati. No? Artho, Jigyasu, Artharthi, and Jnani. Now there are types of Jnani which Lord is elaborating here in 9.15. So see how there is connection between 7.16 and 9.15. Now, if we don't have this Guru Shishya Parampara, we will never be able to make this connection. That 7.16 is connected to 9.15. It is a very far away, far-fetched thing for us to understand. So, Jnana Yagyena Chapyanye Yajante Mamupasate Ekatven Prathakena Bauda Vishwato Mukham. And then in 9.14, Lord has already said, Satatam Kirtayanto Mam Yatantascha Dradvata Namastasya Mam Bhakta Nitya Yukta Upasas. So, this is actually sort of ladder. The best people are the Mahatmas. Then there are 4 type of Sukritinas. And in those Sukritina, the 4th Sukritina are Gyanis. And in that Gyani, there are 3 type of Gyanis. The Ekatven, Pratakven, and Vishwato Mukham. But actually, who are the people who understand Lord properly? The people who understand Lord properly, they understand that Lord is the ritual, He is the sacrifice, He is the offering to ancestor, He is the healing herb, He is the transcendental chant, He is the butter, He is the fire, He is the offering. What Lord trying to tell us that if you have seen a yagya being happening, then everything is actually Lord. That fire is also Lord, that sacrifice is also Lord. The oblations which are given in that fire, that is also Lord. So everything is Lord. Aham kratu, aham yagya, swadham oshadham. So Lord is everything. This is very specific understanding about Pitamaha Masya Jagato Mata Dhata Pitamaha Vedyam Pavitram Omkara Rikasama Yajurevcha. So Lord is saying that I am the father of this universe. I am the mother of this universe. I am the support and the grandsire. I am the object of knowledge. I am the purifier. I am the syllable Om. I am also the Rik, Sam, and Yajurved. So Lord here is giving his opulence. He is saying that actually Pitamaha Masya Jagato Mata Dhata Pitamaha. So in any ways, some people may say that Lord is like mother to them. Some may say that he is like father to me. So Lord says that, okay, I am Mata also and I am Pita also and I am Pitama also. Everything is actually Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasam Sharanam Sruhat Prabhava Pralaya Sthanam Nidhanam Bijam Avyayam. Gatir Bharta Prabhu Sakshi Nivasam Sharanam Sruhat. Lord is everything. When Lord Srila Prabhupada says, what is this Gati? Gati means that destination where we want to go. So final Gati for everyone is actually Lord Sri Krishna. So if we want to say in a simple Hindi, it will be like that Lord is Gati also, Lord is Pati also. Lord is the final destination also, and Lord is what we are hankering for. But whatever we are doing every day, Lord is the Sakshi also. He's sitting inside and he's seeing everything that, okay, he's talking so much about devotion service, and in his heart is lot of anarthas raising their heads. So Sakshi, Nivasa, Sharanam Sruhat. So what is our ultimate destination? Our ultimate destination is Lord Sri Krishna. So Krishna is not only this whole creation, what we can see through our eyes. Krishna is also that subtle element, Atma, which we cannot see through our eyes. So this is very striking thing, that when Lord shows his Virat Rupa, that is also Krishna. And then when Lord is actually manifesting himself in that two-armed form in Vrindavan, Shyam Sundar, that is also Krishna. So everything is Krishna. That is very amazing thing. So all this devotional service, how it will start? The Lord says that all this devotional service will start when we try to understand him properly. So there are people who try to understand Lord through Karma Kanda section, and what they do, they want to go to Swarg and they want to offer so many prayers so that they may be successful in going to heavenly planets. But what Lord is saying, that okay, they may go there, but te tam bhuktva swarga lokam vishalam shine punne mrityu lokam vishanti. Shine punne mrityu lokam vishanti. So what is the problem with Karma Kand? Problem with Karma Kand is once your punya are over, Shine punya they get over, Mrityu lokam vishanti. You are automatically kicked back to this material existence, the lower existence, and maybe in a human life or maybe in lower species. So that is very high risk associated with doing all the karma kand rituals. You may get successful in achieving some level, but it will not be ever existent. It is just like a Ferris wheel. Ferris wheel is just like life and death cycle. Sometime in that Ferris wheel, when you're going up and up and up and up, you feel like that, okay, now I am actually king of whole world existence. Everything I survey belongs to me. And then slowly that wheel starts coming down, down, down. Then you are at the bottommost level. And then you say, okay, I am in the lowest possible species. So what is this happening? This wheel will keep on going and going. And that's why this sort of going to heavenly planet is just like going in that wheel. If you're gone up, you will come down also. This is not a permanent. And when you come down and when you have some body here, someday this whole world will also cease to exist. It will be destroyed. Then what will happen to us? That's why what we should do, ananyas chintayanto mam ye jana paryupasate tesham nityabhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. So what Lord is saying, yogakshemam vahamyam. There are people who will come to this world, they will do some sort of karma kand and they will come down again to this earth, and someday this earth will be destroyed. But then there are specific set of people who are doing ananya bhakti, ananyas chintayantoma. And if they are doing my unalloyed regular bhakti, what will happen to them? Tesham nitya abhiyuktanam yogakshemam vahamyam. So I will take care of everything. To them I carry what they lack and I preserve what they have. These are the two worries we always have. One, जो मेरे पास है वो चला तो नहीं जाएगा, जो मेरे को नहीं मिला है वो क्या मिलेगा. And these two worries, Lord says that to them I carry what they lack. जो कम है वो मैं दूंगा. And I preserve what they have. और जो है वो बचा रहेगा. इसी को कहते हैं योगक्षेमम वहाम्यहम. Lord himself, vahami aham. Lord is not saying that I will use some agency to do that. Vahami aham. I will carry what they lack. And this is a very specific promise given by Lord to all the devotees. When Lord is promising to this extent, shouldn't we also reciprocate with Lord? And we should say that, okay, what you are asking for is ananyas chintayantomam. I will do that ananyas chintayantomam. And you do the yogakshemam vahamyam. Why we are worrying then? Lord will carry everything what we lack. And he will preserve what we have. Now this yogakshemam vahamyam is just not like jindagi ke baad bhi, jindagi ke saath bhi, the LIC ka slogan. It is very great promise given by the Lord, the yogakshemam vahamyam. So there are different type of devotees. There are different types of devotees. They think that, okay, will really Krishna will carry this burden? Isn't it very heavy for him? We have seen that Greek mythology, Atlas is there, carries the whole earth, and he is really actually very much endeavoring to carry that. For Lord, it is very simple thing. Lord at the age of 7 years, he carries the Govardhan. So it's not difficult for him. For him, it is a pleasure to do something towards his Ananyas Chintayantomam devotees. So he is doing it lovingly. He is not doing a lot of efforts to carry something. This is his promise. This is loving promise. Like parents, they do for their child. They don't feel burden for it. They, even at late night at 2 o'clock when child is crying for the milk, mother very happily feeds that child. And she is very satisfied that, okay, my child is feeding my milk. Same way Lord is. Baham bij pradah pita. He is our everything. So for him, we are not burdened. That is not a formality for which he is saying that yogakshemam vahamyam. So there was a great Arjuna Acharya. He had that doubt that yogakshemam vahamyam, really will Lord carry? What he did, he was writing the Tika of Bhagavad Gita, and yogakshemam vahamyaham, he cut that aham. He said that Lord must be doing through his some agencies, some energies, something. A very nice story is there. Then Arjunachar goes for his daily bath, and he had not eaten anything for 3-4 days because nobody has given any alms. He was living with his wife, and while he was out, two young boy, they came and they supplied them with a lot of foodstuffs. And then that wife of Arjunachar, when she was actually thanking those two kids who were very beautiful, that so nice of you, who has sent you? Then they said that Guruji, our Arjunachar has sent us. Okay, he has sent you, but he never mentioned that he had two disciples. No, no, we are his disciples. And then when they were just putting away all the thing, that wife of Arjunacharya, she saw that, oh, Arjun, you have these marks on your back. Who has beaten you so inhumanly? Then those two small kids, they said that our Guru Maharaj, we were late in supplying food to you. So he was very angry. And so that wife of Arjunacharya, she became very angry. You are so small kids. Why you were beaten by my husband? Let him come. I will inquire. And then when Arjunacharya comes back, she mentions that two boy came and they have supplied everything what we were lacking. And why you have beaten them? Arjunacharya said, I have never met them. Who were those? And when she started explaining, the Arjunacharya understood that actually Krishna and Balram had came to give him those supply. And when he came to his tika where he had cut that Vahamyaham, that mark was not there. So Lord always will carry everything what we actually want for our devotional aspect. See, there is difference between need and want. We should understand that. We may have so many aspirations, but few of them are actually good for us. Few of them are actually required for our devotional progress. And Lord will always try to carry those aspirations so that we can become nice devotee and come back to Him. So we should never doubt Lord's saying that faith from where we started, ashraddha dhana. If you are faithless, you will never understand this knowledge. So we should have this faith that yoga kshemam vahamyaham. If Lord has said, then He will do it. But what is the problem? Problem with maximum people in this world is that they want quick solutions. And because they want quick solutions, they don't want to go to Lord, because Lord first purify our heart and only supplies what is actually required. I always give one example to understand this concept, that suppose there is a kid and there is a caretaker person who is being kept for him, and his father has given him 10 rupees as pocket money. Then that kid may give to that caretaker and say that, bring one cigarette for me. What that caretaker will do? He will say, okay, Chote Babu, I will bring you one cigarette because you ordered me. And he will go quickly run and go to a pawn shop and bring one cigarette for that small kid. Now, suppose the same kid with that 10 rupees goes to his father and says, Father, while you're coming back from your office, do me a favor, bring one cigarette for me. Then we all know what will happen to him. He'll be beaten black, blue, red, orange, everything. Why? Because father will first purify his heart. Well, why you are asking for cigarette? You should never smoke cigarettes. Same is with Lord Sri Krishna. Lord will purify our heart, and purification will take a lot of time because there are a lot of impurities. But then what people will say? Are who will wait for so long? Let me worship demigods. So those who are devotees of other god and who worship them with faith actually worship only me, O son of Kunti. But they do so in a wrong way. That's what Lord is saying. Yajantya avidhi purvakam. Avidhi purvakam. So actual why Lord is saying that actually worship only me? Because final order supplier is Lord Himself. Avidhi purvakam means indirectly. They are not knowing that final order supplier is Lord, so why not go to him? And anyways, whatever will be supplied by demigods will be actually existing till this whole creation exists, because demigods are just like post. We can also become demigods. We can become Indra, we can become Brahma. They are like just post. Somebody sitting on that post, someone else will occupy that post after some years. So that's why Lord says that this is avidhi purvak. Worshipping demigod is avidhi purvakam. And that's what we have to understand. Now there are three analogies which is given in this regard, why it is avidhi purvakam. And we should try to understand these three analogies. They are very interesting. One is like there is a tree and you want to water that tree and you start watering all the leaves and all the branches, but not the roots. Then what will happen? Tree will not grow. It will become dehydrated. Why? Because you are pouring water at the wrong place. Second, if we feed to my hand, if I feed to my nose, if I feed to my head, but if I don't put food in my mouth, then it is avidhi purvakam, because that avidhi purvakam, that food will not reach to where it should reach. And third, there are normal ways of getting things done, and then there are ways in which we bribe someone under the table that, okay, I give you this extra money and you do this favor to me. Now this favor is actually wrong way of doing thing. That is known as avidhi purvakam. So what we should do? We should water the roots. That is worship Lord Shri Krishna. We should feed in the mouth. That is worship Lord Shri Krishna. We should not give bribe to anyone to achieve anything which is not allowed as per our karmic cycle. That is, we should always worship the Supreme Lord who will purify our heart. That's why Lord says that I am the only enjoyer and master of all the sacrifices. Therefore, those who do not recognize my true transcendental nature, they will fall down. This is the risk with demigod worship. Lord categorically says in 24 that if you do this way, avidhi purvakam, what will happen? Because you have not understood me, you have not developed any connection to me, you will fall down. This fall down is happening to us since many lifetimes. And now this is the time when we should try to actually control and manage this fall down. And this fall down, how we can manage? Lord says that yanti deva vrata devan pitran yanti pitra vrata bhutani yanti bhuteja yanti madhya jinopi mama. So those who worship demigod will take birth among the demigod. Those who worship the ancestor will go to ancestor. Those who worship ghost and spirit will take birth among such beings. And those who worship me will live with me. Now we have to decide what we want to do. If we want to live in some devlok, no problems. Worship devtas. But that what is the problem? Someday that devlok will have expiry date and it will disappear. If we are too much attached to some ancestors, then we will take birth amongst them. We will also become one the pitras. If we have attachment toward ghost and other being, we will go to their abode. So why to take this risk? Why not worship Lord Krishna and go to his abode, which is eternal? And this is the last section of this chapter. And what is that? The section 4, where Lord will tell us the glories of devotional service to Sri Krishna. Why he is telling these glories right now? Because he knows that people are confused and they are difficult to make choice between demigod worship and worshipping Lord Shri Krishna. So he wants to encourage us to make right choice. So final 9 verses of this chapter are to plead us for our own benefit to become his exclusive devotees. And how this is the most beautiful section of any chapter. Patram pushpam phalam toyam yo me bhaktya parayachati tadam bhakti upartam ashnami prayatat manah. So what Lord is saying, bhakti, we have to do bhakti. And what type of bhakti? Patram pushpam phalam toyam. If you see any demigod worship, you will see that there are elaborate arrangements to be done to do that demigod worship. And what Lord is asking from you? Patram, Pushpam, Phalam and Toyam. Only four things. Patra, any leaf. Pushpa, any flower. Phal, any fruit. Toyam, water. Now, poorest of the poor person will have access to one of these four things. He may not have access to fruits nowadays, they are very costly, but he will have access to some patra and pushpa and water, definitely he must be having. So anybody in the remotest part of this world can offer these four things to Lord Sri Krishna and please him. Now, why Lord is asking for only patra, pushpa, phal and toyam? Because he wants to simplify this. He wants to contrast this with the demigod worship where you have to do elaborate arrangements. And also he wants to say that why demigods ask for those things, because they don't have those things, so they don't have those access, and that's why when somebody worships them, then they get all those things. But Lord is master of everything. He has everything. So he doesn't require anyone. So what he says, Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam. Give me something. I am more interested in through what feeling you are giving. That offering, that thought behind that offering actually pleases. And not what practically you are giving. So that's why that giving is not very important. Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam will also go. And this we see in this world also. Somebody comes to our house and we offer them water. They are very pleased. Okay, पानी के लिए पूछा, पानी के लिए भी नहीं पूछा. What they mean? At least they asked for the water. At least they offered me some water. When we go to congratulate someone, what we do? We take some bouquet with us, pushpam. So that is there. That concept is there in this world also. So even just by offering this patram, pushpam, phalam and toyam, we can develop this bhakti. And this bhakti is so easily accessible to each one of us because we have access to all these things. So worshipping Krishna is very simple. Just offer him one of these four things, and that is enough for him. Like we see Draupadi Maharani, we all know that story of Akshay Patra, where she had nothing left, but when Lord actually got satisfied, everybody got satisfied. We see how Durvasa Muni was satisfied just by a leaf, when actually Draupadi Maharani offered a remnant of a small food grain to Lord Shri Krishna. So Krishna trapt honge to jagat trapt ho jata hai. And we see that how Gajendra just offered a flower and Lord got pleased. Now think about it someday, that when one flower was offered by Gajendra, then Lord came running and he was pleased. Then think about when we are making this fool bangla for Lord, how much he will be pleased with this fool bangla. And we know that story of fruit seller who she came to Vrindavan and the small Krishna, and she offered some fruits to him and her life was satisfied. We know the story of Shabrima, how she offered those small berries and to Lord Ramchandra, and we still remember her. So small offerings to Lord can also satisfy him. We know the story of Ranti Dev, how at the end of his sacrifice, he offered everything, and last bit of his water also he offered to someone. It was just a taste what Dharmaraj was taking. And finally, we still talk about Ranti Dev. So even offering a drop of water can satisfy Lord. So Lord is present everywhere. Just by his glance, he can actually accept those offerings. Many times people wrongly question, give you offered 4 chapatis and 4 are still there. So Lord has not eaten anything. Lord should eat one of it at least. It doesn't happen that way. All Angani yasya sakalendriya vritti manti. All his organs can do the function of some other organ. So Lord impregnate just by his glance. Now this is the best level of offering. Patram pushpam phalam toyam. The second best level of offering is yad karoshi, yad ashnasi, yad juhoshi dadasi, yad tapasyasi konte, tat kurush mad arpanam. So if you can't offer these 4 things, then at least whatever you are doing and you are getting as a fruit and results, offer that to me. This is very important shloka for all of us. Whatever you do, whatever you eat, whatever you offer or give away, and whatever austerities you perform, do that, O son of Kunti, as an offering to me. In this way, you will be freed from the bondage to work, and at auspicious and inauspicious results with your mind fixed on me. And in this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and come to me. So this is a Nishkam Karma Yoga. The best way is to offer Patram Pushpam Phalam Toyam with all the bhav and bhakti. If you cannot do it, so whatever you are doing, offer that to me. If you cannot do that also, Shubh Ashubh Phalarahimasha Moksha Se Karma Bandhane. So at least bondage, if you want to come out of this bondage, at least fix your mind upon me, and through this principle of renunciation, you will be liberated and you will come back to me. So this is the next level of understanding. This is what Srila Baldev Vidyabhushan explains to us, that you will not only become a mukta or liberated from material activity, but you will also become a vimukta. There is difference between mukti and vimukti. Vimukti is complete mukti. Vimukti means going back to Lord's abode and actually contemplating and experiencing a reciprocal relationship with him. That's what Lord is saying, that Nishkam level of understanding should be developed. Nishkam is no other interest, but we have dedicated our life to the service of the Lord. We all have to also understand one more concept which somebody may raise. Somebody may say that he delivers his devotees and annihilates the miscreants. So somebody may say, Lord is partial. Is this a partiality which he is doing? Is Krishna partial? So Lord knows that this question will come, so he himself answers it. What he says, Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshasti na priya ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya mai te teshu chapyaham. So Lord says that I envy no one. I am partial to anyone. I am equal to all. But what happens? But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend in me, and I am also friend in him. Now we have to understand this concept properly. And what is that? This shloka is very confusing shloka of 9th chapter. Many people, they get confused. Samoham sarva bhuteshu name dveshasti na priya. When Lord is saying this first line, actually he is talking about his Paramatma existence. As a Paramatma, he is Samoham sarva bhuteshu. But second line, ye bhajanti tumam bhakta mai te teshu chapyaham. This second line is for the devotees. For devotees, he is reciprocative in nature. So he is allowing everybody to breathe this oxygen. That is Paramatma aspect of him. But then he has that special reciprocation with his devotees in Vrindavan. That is his Bhagavan aspect. So this first line is for Paramatma aspect and second line is for Bhagavan aspect. So is Krishna partial? No, Krishna is not partial. Krishna is just impartially partial. Or rather we should say Krishna is reciprocal. So he is just like a cloud. Cloud pours rain all over the earth. Now if it is a rock, it will not be able to take benefit of that rain. And if it is a land or a water body, it will get the benefit. So is Krishna partial? No. Actually, our reciprocative nature and our ability to reciprocate with Krishna is not there. That's why Lord says that Api chetsu duracharo bhajte mamananibhag. He says that I am impartial, and then he says that okay, I am partial to the devotees, and I am partial to the extent that api chetsu duracharo bhajte mamananibhag. Somebody who is doing devotional service, and even if he commits the most abominable action, what will happen? Sadhureva samantavya samyak vyavastito hi saha. He should be considered saintly because he is properly situated in determination. So this is a liberal understanding versus conservative understanding. A liberal understanding would be that if you become a devotee and you do all the nonsense, the Lord will tolerate it. No, that is wrong understanding. The right understanding is that your determination should be right. Intentionally, you should not try to do wrong. Accidental fall down may happen, and Lord has very good heart towards his devotees and he will not judge them. Just like a small kid, when he's trying to learn to walk, he may fall down. We may all fall down, we will fall down because this is a difficult, treacherous path. But we should not fall apart. We should again stand up and we should try to learn to walk again. So, unless and until our determination to walk is there, Lord will reciprocate with us. And if our determination is not there, we will fall apart. So, falling apart is not allowed. Falling down is allowed. It will happen. Don't feel bad about it. Again, stand up and keep up your determination and motivation in the association. And such people are known as sadhu. So sadhu definition, what is the definition of sadhu? Somebody whose determination is well established. His determination is praiseworthy. And we should never think that we can take this for granted and we can do all the nonsense. This is applicable only for accidental fall downs. If we keep on falling down, or if we fall down and don't want to stand up, then it is our problem. That is not Lord's problem. That's why he says that somebody whose determination is strong, Shipram bhavati dharmatma shashvatam shantim nigacchati kaunteya pratijani name bhakta pranashyati. So he says to Kaunteya, to Arjun, that you declare. What you declare? Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Boldly declare, my devotee never perishes. So एक भगवान कह चुके promise, योगक्षेमम महाम्यम. And another promise he is asking Arjuna to make. Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. Why? Actually, this is a very interesting aspect. Why is saying Arjuna that you declare, I don't want to declare? Because he knows that abhi ladai hogi, and in that war, because he has taken that promise that Lord Krishna will never pick up any weapon. And then just to, for sake of Bhishma Deva and Arjuna, he will pick up a chariot wheel and then he will break up his promise. So somebody may say that, oh, Krishna is used to make such promises which he never keeps. When he was a small kid in Vrindavan, he was a big liar. So what he wants, that people should not doubt what he's saying in Bhagavad Gita. So he tells to Arjuna, Arjuna, better you declare it, because people have more faith in your word than my words. And that's why he says, Kaunteya pratijanihi name bhakta pranashyati. So Bhakti Vinod Thakur Maharaj says in this context that this is very important aspect to understand. People just directly want to understand the Ras Leela of Lord Shri Krishna. No, first you understand this promise what Lord has made, and that reciprocative nature what Lord has told us. And then you come to these all esoteric aspects of knowledge. So mahi parth vyapishita yepi syo pap yonayo striyo veshya tatha shudro yeti param gatam. So what Lord is saying, that don't worry about it. Not only for the devotees, for everyone I am easily available. Everybody can get that param gatim. So each one of them may have a different starting points in their life, but their ending or finishing line will be me only. Finally, they all will come to me, directly or indirectly. But definitely, intelligent people will come to direct route. And that's why he says that when I'm taking care of everyone, when I'm taking care of devotees, when I'm taking care of accidental fall down of devotees, when I'm taking care of those people whose past karmic life and were not good, then what to talk about the Brahmanas and devotees and saintly kings? They will all, they have come to this temporary miserable world, but if they engage in the loving devotional service to me, they will definitely come to me. And that's what is the promise Lord gives in the end of this chapter. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhya jimam namaskuru mame veshyasi yuktam te atmanama parayana. So mat parayana, the essence of the essence of the essence, the confidential of the most confidential of the most confidential of the most confidential is manmana bhava mad bhakto. You become my devotee. Madhyaji mam namaskuru. You pay obeisances to me. And what will happen? Don't worry, you will come to me. So this shloka 34 is just like a pearl, that center theme, that concept, 9th chapter, the center chapter of this whole Bhagavad Gita and this 34, the last verse of this section. So essence of all Vedic literature is Bhagavad Gita. The essence of all Bhagavad Gita is middle 6 chapters. And finally, the last verse of the 9th chapter is the middle of the Gita. And practically verbatim, Lord will repeat this at the end of the Gita. So this is very important. Lord has to only speak a total conversation around 700 shlokas, and in that 700 shloka, he had time to repeat the shloka twice. Why? Because this is the essence of the essence of the essence. This is the pearl which is there in that shell. So because of mercy of Srila Prabhupada and Guru Parampara, we got this pearl. So real bhakti is what? Real bhakti is we should first and foremost understand that Krishna is a person and he has his own likes and dislikes. And he is favorable towards people who do devotional service. That is his liking, that is his choice. And if we know and how to cultivate knowledge towards Krishna continuously, someday will happen that we will have that favorable cultivation and will be able to reciprocate with Lord. But for that, we need some bona fide teachings coming from the bona fide Guru Shishya Parampara. And if we can understand this, we are doing the real bhakti. So just to summarize what we have discussed today, and in fact, I am summarizing it as a whole through Bhagavad Gita also. Lord says in 18.64, Sarva guhitamam bhuyah shrunu me paramam vacha. Shrunu me paramam vacha. Here, the paramam vacha. What is that paramam vacha? 18.65. Manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskuru mame veshyasi satyam te pratijani triyosi me. Sarvadharmana parityajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshishyami ma shucha. So by the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, we understood this most confidential aspect of this material creation. And what Lord actually inspires Srila Prabhupada to write in the purport to 18.65. I will read it verbatim because listen to it. The most confidential part of this knowledge is that one should become a pure devotee of Krishna and always think of him and act for him. Concentration of mind on the form of Krishna constitute the most confidential part of knowledge, and this is disclosed to Arjuna because Arjuna is the most dear friend of Krishna. So somehow if we can develop that understanding and somehow if we can develop that reciprocation with Lord, what Arjuna has, we will also become dear friend of Sri Krishna and we will also have access to this, the most confidential knowledge in this whole world. So what should everyone should feel grateful to the Supreme Personality of Godhead because he is maintaining all the living entities, supplying all their necessities, and there is no way to express our gratitude but to pray with the folded hand. So we should all pray with folded hand. Lord, you are supplying everything. Yoga kshemam vahamyam. I am not doing anything towards you. I am not reciprocating with you. Please inspire me from inside so that I can reciprocate you the way the great devotees do. And how we can reciprocate? We can associate with the devotees. We can do service towards Sri Krishna in his deity form. We can read Bhagavad and Bhagavad Gita and Chaitanya Charitamrita. We can do very nice kirtan for the Lord. And we can go to holy places for the visit. Even if one of these we do, we'll be able to attain lot of piety and we'll be able to understand Lord in a better way. So just to summarize, the breakdown of this chapter is what we discussed today. In the first part, Lord told us about importance of hearing from a qualified person. Also, he told us that what are the qualification who will get this knowledge. Then Lord elaborately explained his Aishwarya Gyan. Then he told us about the fools who neglect bhakti and the people who are divine, who don't neglect the bhakti. And then in section 4, he told us about the glories of devotional service to Lord Shri Krishna. So what is the take-home message for all of us, practical application of this chapter? We should understand that Krishna is not neutral but reciprocal. So we should also become reciprocal towards Krishna. We don't want to give our leftovers to Krishna, what remains, our ages when we become old, the resources which we don't require, and we give it to Krishna. No, we should give the fresh things to Krishna, like Yashoda Mata gives the fresh uh, churned out butter for Lord Krishna's pleasure. And falling down is not a failure. Don't become depressed. Staying down is failure. So never stay down. Pick up yourself, again associate with devotees, inspire yourself from inside, and try to follow again. Remembering Krishna is not a function of the memory. It can never happen कि मेरी memory बहुत तेज है तो मैं भगवान को याद कर लूंगा. It is inclination of the heart. So Krishna's pastimes are fantastic. If you read 10th canto Bhagavatam, you will be amazed. But they are not fantasy in the sense that they were true. Many people, they are fool and moodas, and they think that Krishna is just a historical figure, and these all stories are actually blown beyond the proportion. No, it is not like that. Krishna is not a fantasy, he is fantastic. So, O son of Kunti, declare it boldly that my devotees never perish. Name bhakta pranashyati. If you want to recite, remember, memorize one shloka, then do 9.31. 9.31 is very important shloka for all of us. So I thank you, each one of you, for patiently listening to this session on Bhagavad Gita. If there are any one or two queries we may take, or else we will end up here. So thank you very much. I would request people who have not read 9th chapter, please go through 9th chapter today only, so that all these concepts which we discussed today, they become fixed up in your memory, and actually they remain with you. And actually the way and the best way to understand Bhagavad Gita is trying to follow it. So let's pray for each one of us that we will be able to follow Bhagavad Gita and teachings which we understood today. So thank you so much. So we'll end here. Thank you so much. Vancha kalpatarubhyasya kripa sindhubhyayocha patitanam pavnebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo.